Hey, what's up? It's your girl Neek, and you're tuned in to Neek at Night. And tonight we're going to be talking about Joseline Hernandez losing custody of her daughter to Stevie J. Now, a lot of people have been reacting to this, and however, if you do your research, this is not a new occurrence. But because people just see a clip in the way that social media does, they don't put the full story in perspective, people react off of emotion and they don't know the full story. If you cry about it, they got you sold, and people won't even investigate and they'll automatically take your side without finding out the full details. And that is pretty much what happened in this situation when this clip of Joseline finding out that she lost custody of her daughter occurred. I'm going to show you what has social media in an uproar, and then I'm going to give you the full context of the story as the blogs who have been posting this old clip should have been doing.
It's being told to me that I have to let my daughter go with her father because my baby daddy's trying to take custody. So I feel like my life is just falling apart.
They gave him custody, babe. I don't know what you do.
Knock, knock, guys. It's Dr. Rich. Joseline. I know it. 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 Come here. Come here. Come here.
I don't know.
Come here. So look at me. There is no judge on this planet who wants to take the kid away from a mom who is fit. You are not an unfit mother. It's beyond a hard situation, and it makes you feel like you're not doing your job as mom, doesn't it? So you gotta make a call to your baby.
Okay, so after people heard Joseline cry about her losing custody, a lot of people immediately said that they felt like Stevie was a horrible person. There were several comments talking about, oh, he has multiple children. He needs to leave that one alone, as if you're only supposed to not care if you have multiple children. So if you have multiple children, by a lot of people's rhetoric, if you have one that you can't see, that's okay because you have other children. I mean, there were so many illogical comments in the comment thread, and most of the people who were commenting based on emotion simply because they seen somebody cry and not putting logic in the situation and putting the full story in perspective. There was a lot of people who, said, oh, he's just bitter. He's trying to control her. He's doing this and this and that. And you have to, before you put your emotions involved because you see somebody cry, you have to get to the root of the problem. Now, I am a mother who has gone through a custody battle, and I know how emotionally draining it is. I know how, difficult it can be if you're not on the same page of your other co-parent. And I know how hard the court system is. And you can't just up and do what you want to do when the court system is involved. Once one parent enters into a plea to get custody or a joint custody agreement or anything like that, you have to abide by the rules. It does not matter if you are a mother or not. Now, I understand being a mom, it's like, damn, I went 9 months, I birthed this baby, and there may have been times where this man didn't even want my child. But once they decide they want to step up, it is no longer, you got to put your feelings away and your feelings aside, and you have to think about what is in the best interest of the child. Just because you're mad at the person does not necessarily mean that is what the best interest of the child is. Now, if you go to court and you put in a court order and you have it put in place that, okay, on this time, the mother is going to have the baby, and on this time, the father is going to have the baby. The mother cannot, unless there is a danger to the child, the mother cannot say, oh, well, I'm just not going to let him see the baby. And that is what happened in this case. And Joseline, or however you say her name, her filming a reality show is not an excuse for her not allowing him to see the child. And it does not matter. The judge will not rule in your favor, mother or not. So a lot of people are going off of emotion, and you have to think about what the actual logical situation is happening. Me, as much as I can't stand sometimes my daughter's father, I can't just up and not abide by that order because it will reflect on my parenting. It will reflect on my my parenting time with my child, and it just not the way to handle it. You have lawyers in place, you have a court system in place, and as a mother, you have to do what's necessary to secure your right and your time with your child. If there's an emergency that happens, if you feel like, it's some fuck shit going on over there and you like, hell no, I don't want my child going over there. There are emergency court orders that will put a halt to the visitation in the meantime until stuff gets squared away. You can't just up and do what you want to do when there is a court system put in place. No matter how irritating these niggas get, you have to protect yourself as a parent. It'll be times where you be like, oh, I can't stand this motherfucker. I'm speaking from experience. I'm telling you, it'll be them times where you like, oh, this motherfucker get on my goddamn nerve. But you have to compose yourself as hard as it is, and you got to just cry in the car, girl. You got to just cry it out in the motherfucking car and suck it up and vent to your friends, but you got to hold your composure when it comes to dealing with that other parent, because you don't want to be a person who loses custody over ego, pride, and getting too much into your feelings over things that you just can't control if the person is not a danger to the child. Now, let me stop before I go into a full-on preach and a full-on rant, because I've seen so many illogical comments where I'm like, sweetie girl, you will lose your child. What are you talking about? From people who don't know what they're talking about, and people who probably never even been through the court custody system, so they don't know what they're talking about, and they'll be the ones to give advice to somebody who is going through the court custody system and have that person have their kids taken because they talking in that yip yap off of emotion rather than doing what's logical and filing the proper paperwork and doing the proper things. You can't just uproot your child when there is scheduled visitation time just because you willy-nilly feel like it, or just because you willy-nilly feel like, oh, I'm about to record this show and I'm just about to take my baby. That's not how it works. Now, if you want to make other arrangements, you have to do that through the courts, or else you will be crying like Joseline. And as a mom, it's devastating, like fuck, but you gotta take accountability, and Joseline has to take accountability in this situation. Now, this is not a new thing. Since this has cracked off, they are now in a better place. So this happened last year in August. So the blogs are just now showing it now in March. I don't know why it took so long for Marriage Bootcamp to release this clip, but I guess Mona Scott, with Love and Hip Hop franchise, she puts out things, I guess she shoots her stuff and puts it out a lot quicker. So people are conflicted and they're like, wait, Joseline is losing her custody here, but then Stevie J on Love and Hip Hop, he's saying everything is all good. That's because at the time that they shot Marriage Bootcamp, it was further longer ago than when they have now come to a common ground where they now have worked it out. And now currently Stevie J says they're in a better place. And so this aired in Love and Hip Hop Atlanta recently. And like I said, it also aired that she lost her custody recently as well, but it was taped in different times. So I'm going to bring you guys up to speed on what happened in this old situation, and then I'm going to show you what Stevie J is saying more recently as to what the status of their relationship and their custody status is. So this is an old article, and it kind of details exactly what went down and what led to her losing custody. Okay, so the article reads, Stevie J gets temporary sole custody of his daughter Bonnie Bella, while ex Joseline Hernandez faces jail time. 2-year-old Bonnie Bella is currently with her father. This article was published on August 3rd of 2019. So this was all the way last year in August. So it says, the very public custody battle between Love and Hip Hop Atlanta reality star Joseline Hernandez and Stevie J continues, and this time, jail time can be involved. TMZ reports Joseline was placed in a serious hot water after she apparently broke a child custody agreement with the father of her child, Stevie J. The move could even land her in jail. According to court documents obtained by the news source, when Stevie traveled to Miami on July 28th to pick up their 2-year-old daughter, Bonnie Bella, Joseline, who was filming the reality show Marriage Bootcamp, flew to Los Angeles with their child. So it says the father of 6 was reportedly scheduled to take custody of Bonnie Bella from July 28th to August 11th. On Thursday, August 1st, the judge in the custody case issued an arrest warrant, according to LA County Sheriff Department, to arrest Joseline immediately if she didn't turn over the child. Stevie and his attorney, Adam whatever the heck, told TMZ Joseline flew back to Miami with Bonnie Bella and turned the toddler over to Stevie, adult daughter. Both of Stevie's daughter headed to LA to reunite with him. Due to the ordeal, the judge in the ex's custody battle granted sole physical custody of Bonnie Bella until the next court date of August 15th. So this was only a very short amount of time. So please, when you guys are acting off emotion and just typing away and doing all these things, know the full context of the story. The next court date happened 15 days later. It says, we surely hope the couple can come to an amicable custody agreement for the sake of Bonnie Bella. So after this, then that's where you see now Love and Hip Hop has now filmed, and Stevie J is saying that they worked it out, because clearly they worked it out and now they are on common ground.
As of lately, I've been spending a lot of time with Bonnie, and I'm grateful to Joseline that we ironed out our thing in court, and we have joint custody of our baby girl.
And now they have worked out an agreement that works, and Joseline realizes, I can't just up and do what I want to do in this situation, and I can't just uproot my child and take her from the father. It don't matter if he got 6 kids, 10 kids, 20 kids. It don't matter. Once there is a court order in place, you have to abide by that order, or by default, it will go against you, period. So, that's that on that. I just wanted to provide correct context, especially after I've seen all the people, oh, he's just bitter, oh, he's just trying to control her. No, actually, this is how a court of law works. If anybody has been through the custody system, you know that if you don't show up to court, it will not rule in your favor. If you miss a court date, it is imperative. Like it is just, the things that you would think is common sense just really isn't common these days, and people do not do the research to find out the proper information. And so with my platform, especially in cases like this, especially when I've been through a custody order, I hate for women to go and say these things, because it will jeopardize your parenting and it will just jeopardize the custody of your children. And I would not want to see any mothers putting their custody of their child in jeopardy. It's just not worth it. So in closing, do what you got to do to keep the rights of your child protected. Don't act in emotion, because these dudes will do petty shit and they will get the upper hand on you, and it will only be you who is accountable in the end. So just shit, cry, like I said, cry in the car, seek a therapist, do whatever you got to do to sort out your emotions, but you have to figure out and sort those things out so you can logically react, or else you would be in these same predicaments. Another thing in closing that I want to say, I've seen so many comments of people who were talking about, oh, I see Joseline. I don't know why I keep calling her Joseline. Joseline. I see Joseline posting photos with her daughter all the time. So that means she's such a great mom. She's such a good mom. Like, just because, and I'm not taking away from her being a good mom. I don't know if she's a good mom or not, to say that she's a bad mom or a good mom. But what I want to say is, a lot of people, they see people taking photos with their children and they think, oh, if this person takes so many adorable photos with their child, they are such a good parent. And that does not equate to being a good parent. Because how many times have y'all seen these social media relationships where people painting themselves to be the perfect, picture perfect couple, then later you find out that it ain't as peachy clean as you thought it was. He was cheating on her, beating on her, or doing something to where, the image that they put out in the photos was not the reality of what the situation was. So y'all got to stop seeing people just because they post photos with their children, that's painting them as being these perfect parents, and looking at photos and putting these made up realities on people just because people have a squeaky clean Instagram page. You know what I'm saying? That's all I wanted to say in closing. And again, that's not taken away from her parenting, because I don't know if she's a good parent or a bad parent. I'm not saying she's either, because I don't know to say either. But just, that's just my main takeaway. Do what you got to do. Stop saying illogical things. Sort out your feelings. Cry in the car if you got to. And at this present moment, Joseline and Stevie have joint custody, and it was only a temporary, very short-lived situation that happened. If you're not subscribed to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell. Even though these notification bells have not been working, you have to just check on our pages. Like, if you have a favorite content creator, just type in our names and search our content, because YouTube has changed a lot of settings due to this whole situation that we're going through, and they're making it harder for our content to be shown. So just, if you have a content creator that you like, search our names to check and see if we posted new things. But just as a measure, just in case the notification bell works, hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. All right, guys, peace.